Hello, thanks for tuning in. This is another video in the coffee grinder restoration series. Problem you sometimes find, as you can see, we've got this, it's in bits at the moment, but we've got this 1930s Dienes grinder, nice grinder in cherry, with these coloured plastic hopper covers. This plastic is called Pollopas, which is a formaldehyde urea resin, so it's an early plastic. Simple tip for identification, certainly on Dienes coffee grinders, if it's a bright colour it's Pollopas, if it's a dark brown colour it's Bakelite. Anyway, the problem we've got is this one's had a knock in the past. I don't know if you can see that, and there's a crack here. So the question is, how do we fix it? So I'm going to show you how we're going to do it, and I'm going to show you what we need. Put the good one to one side. We have our broken piece of plastic, and this is what we're going to repair it with, which is tissue paper. We're going to also use some super glue. Low viscosity super glue is good. I've run out, so we're using just a standard one. I'm going to use some masking tape to protect parts we're not working on. I've got some scissors and a highlighter. First things first, we're going to need to clean the part that we're working on. So for cleaning, we're going to use some isopropyl alcohol. We just want to degrease everything. We don't need to be too obsessive. Now we've degreased, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mask off the areas that we don't want to get covered in glue. Next thing is we need to cut some bits of paper. This is strong tissue paper, and the idea is that when we put it on and it's glued down, it'll become a kind of composite and it'll be nice and strong. So as we can see, one of the things is the colour of the tissue paper is a little bit different. So all we're going to do, very simple, I'm going to use an orange highlighter and I'm going to colour the tissue paper that we're going to use orange. And of course it doesn't have to be tissue paper. Tissue paper is good. You could also use a piece of fabric, a piece of an old sheet, anything that's got some strength. So what we got there now is we've got some tissue paper with a bit of orange colour, which as you can see is not a bad match. It'll probably go a little bit darker when the glue is applied. So next thing we're going to do is just cut these bits out. Make sure you let them dry. They need to be reasonably dry, and our plan is we're going to put layers on this part here. First thing we're going to do, let's cut a few pieces of this to size. Doesn't have to be precise. So there we go. We've got our pieces that we're going to laminate in. We've also got some waxed paper for pressing, otherwise you're going to get covered in super glue. And the last thing we need to do before we start thinking about gluing is just roughening up the surface of the plastic here. That's another reason for the masking, because we don't want the whole thing looking too rough. Right, let's go, let's see what happens. First of all, let's get the glue into those cracks as much as we can. And then the idea is we just spread some super glue on the area we've roughened, and then we take these orange pieces. Got to be quite careful because obviously it's super glue, it does get very sticky, which is why we're using the waxed paper. As you can see, we're doing probably 4 layers here. Got to be a bit quick. It's always a balance, because the more you rush the less good it will be, and of course never gonna be as perfect as you'd like it to be. So there we are, we've got 4 layers of tissue on there. Let's let it dry for a while and we'll come back in a bit and see what it looks like. Okay, so it's been drying for a while. Let's have a look. Take the masking tape off. So there we go, tape's off. We will be able to smooth this over with some very, very fine wet and dry, and then possibly even give it a polish. But there we have it. Thanks very much for watching. Feel free to have a look at the links at the end of the video and in the description, and happy restoring.